So that ends Wild Arms 2. Out of the 3 Wild Arms games I've played, well, I've only played the first 3, and I haven't beaten the 3rd one yet, due to the fact that my disc stopped working. I got frustrated with it, and then I put it down, and then when I came back, my disc stopped working. So I never ended up beating 3, but I got a good ways into it. But I would actually rate the series of what I've played. Wild Arms 1 is probably my favorite, with 2 being the second favorite, and 3, of course, at the bottom of my list of the ones I've played. Now, like I said before, this game could have been one of the PlayStation's shining gems. The graphics are really good. I'm not a real big fan of the whole sprites on the well, I'm not a real big fan of the whole sprites on 3D backdrop that they had going on in this game. They do it in Breath of Fire 3, Breath of Fire 4, a bunch of other games. If you're gonna do sprites, I think you should do sprites. Like, you should do a sprite background too. That's typically how I feel. The problem I have with it is it doesn't usually age as well. Like, the sprites in Wild Arms 1 are beautiful. I mean, if you're going to go 3D, go 3D. I don't like this halfway, you know, kind of, I guess, like, half and half method. It doesn't work as well in this game as it does. It works a little better in Breath of Fire 3 and 4, don't get me wrong. And the main problem with this game and it is the fact that you have to use the tools and such, and honestly I think that a top-down view over a 2D background would have been better, like in the first game to, you know, I don't think it would have been quite as frustrating to, for example, how many times did I run off a ledge trying to edge up to it? Well, I think it would have been a little easier to see the end of the ledge there. I love Quibbly in the background destroying things. That's funny. But I think it would have been a little easier to use the tools and such if it had been on a 2D background. But at the time this game came out, you know, the whole isometric 3D world on sprite thing was real big. Everyone's like, ooh, look what we can do. But I do feel that the sprites in this game are not nearly as detailed as Wild Arms 1 as a consequence. While they are larger and less chibi than the first game, they feel less detailed as well. But overall, the graphics are not bad at all, and they certainly service the game well. As for the battle graphics, I would say that they are definitely much better than the first game, with the exception that the monsters just got a lot weirder from the first game to this game. Got one more scene after the credits. The music in this game is wonderful. I cannot talk about how good it is enough. There are some truly epic scenes. Like, there's like at least 4 songs in here that, like, I would put in a playlist and just listen to all the time. The battle against Liz and R being one of them. The battle theme that you hear when you fight Lord Blazer. I mean, I'm not even talking about remixing them, and I'm just like, just the song itself. Really good. We have a year later scene here. Now, getting back into the game, the big, I think, the worst thing this game has got going for it is probably the translation being the big one. And the second thing being the horrible balance that, like, they didn't balance this game at all. Also, another thing that brings it down is some of the lackluster tools. I get that they were trying to, they pretty much, they went from having 12 tools to 18 tools. So, you know, they had from the first to second game. So they kind of had to, they had a hard time because, you know, bombs and grappling hooks are easy, you know. But Ashley had one usable tool to solve puzzles with, literally until the final dungeon of the game. His hurl knife. His second tool was the booty call. Kanan's jump shoes saw use in a single dungeon and didn't even have any use after that whatsoever. Oh look, Marina and Ashley have children. Bow chicka wow wow, Ashley. Unless that's bread in their arms. I think those are babies. I seem to remember those being babies and not bread. Okay, no, they're babies. Yeah, he's got a little boy in his hands, and I think she has a little girl. You know, if they had, you know, just taken a little more time to polish this game, though, back on what I was discussing before, the game would have been, like I said, one of the shining gems of the PlayStation era. I wish they had kept the MP from the first game, or had retooled the FP system to work a little differently in this game. There is no benefit for casting lower level spells once you get enough FP up to cast a higher spell. There's no point in casting anything lower. I felt like that. I always felt that, you know, maybe your FP should have decreased when you cast spells in this game. Maybe that was their intention. But I don't know. The game wasn't very balanced, and then when you it wasn't very balanced before you introduced Lord Blazer into the equation. Once you introduce the Night Blazer form, it's like, I mean, every boss in this game is absurdly easy, even without him, and he just makes everything a joke. The only bosses that provide any challenge whatsoever are the last two. Well, you know, the last couple of bonus bosses. So overall, this game's really easy, and although it did have some good puzzles. Yes, what are you going to name them? I think I have an idea. Come on, tell us, Ashley. Teach us. Teach us, Ashley. Teach us your children's names. This is a really sweet way to end the game. Overall, I'd give this game a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. It's a wonderful game, don't get me wrong. But like I said, it's got a few serious flaws in it. You know, the translation and such. Basically, it's telling you there, do not save over your save file with this extra file. And you can watch the movies from different parts in the game here. But like I said, at the most, I'd say out of 10, the game is formulaic enough to where you can't. You get a game like Final Fantasy Tactics. The gameplay is unique enough and deep enough, and the story is interesting enough to make you look past all of the mistakes in the text and things like that. You know, it makes you want to look past all that. This game is formulaic enough, unfortunately. While, as I said before, it's still a wonderful game. It's still unique enough, but it's just formulaic enough to really be hurt by the translation errors and stuff in this game. Liz and Ard are supposed to be hilarious characters, and they just end up coming off hilarious for a different reason because of the fact that they are literally walking nonsense. But these are my characters. You can see I had a little more completion on the other file I lost, but I ended up with 62% of my monster data collected. Watch movie number 6 to see what it is. I think you can hit start and skip it. Okay, it's the credits. Well, you know what? Let's watch the credits as I talk one more time and say goodbye. I'll give you some music in the background. Never mind. But anyway, like I said, Wild Arms 2 is a game I'd recommend anybody to play. The difficulty is also something that's really wonky in this game. This game is incredibly easy overall, and there is really little, assuming that you know to pick up HP, and assuming that you use a lucky card on every boss, starting at the end of Disc 1 even. You don't even have to do it at the beginning. There is absolutely no way that you can be underleveled, which is a good thing. I do like certain things about this game's thing. The ability to skip whatever random battles you want. Assuming you were higher level than the enemy, you can skip any random battle you want unless you are surprised. That is wonderful. I was slightly pissed off in 3 when they took that they sort of took that away. But once again, this game is available on the PlayStation 1. It's also on the PS3 for the PS1 Classics if you can get a copy of it, play it. It's wonderful. I also recommend Wild Arms 1, and if you haven't played that one. So that's pretty much all I've got to say for this game. I mean, it's been lots of fun. I love this game, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time on the next game I'm going to complete. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye.